Hello and welcome to another episode on the Awakening Collective. And today we're talking about awakening and ascension, the difference between the two, and why it is that so many people at the moment are still feeling really heavy, really burdened, really energetically out of whack and heavy with all of their emotions and their healing. Why people still feel like they're not moving anywhere, that they're stuck and not moving forward no matter how much healing they're doing. Why people are feeling like the universe is constantly spitting out lessons and, treating them hideously because, they're getting the same things still repeating over and over again. So, like I said, awakening and ascension are two completely different things. And awakening is that initial catalyst that usually triggers the dark night of the soul. It's that space where we go into either something traumatic or big has happened and it's set you into a deep healing, a deep reflection. Probably something in your life has happened that is allowing everything to crumble down. And you feel like you're starting again, like nothing makes sense anymore. Okay. So it triggers that dark night of the soul, but the actual awakening is just a frequency that happens, an activation that happens to send you onto a different path, onto the path of ascension. And so ascension is about moving forward. It's about moving up. It's about elevating. It's about expansion. It's, the place where we continue to learn and evolve and grow, and therefore our frequency evolves and grows. And that's what we're doing, right? We want to get up to where we're all living in this sort of higher vibrational frequency as individuals and as a human collective. That's the word I was looking for. But what's happening is we're getting stuck in the energy, even though we may move forward through the stages of awakening, and we may move into stage 2 and start really expanding and exploring ways of healing, of connecting to guides, of connecting to angels, and we may move through into that self-healer. We are still dragging the energy of the dark night of the soul with us, thinking that there's so much belief out there. And I've seen it, even spiritual mentors talking about how heavy it is, and it's also heavy out there, and we're all so tired because, but it doesn't have to be like that. That's just a choice that people are making. And with the right tools and the right energy, frequency, and by embodying what you're learning, it does not have to be like that. There are so many people out there who have awakened, who are healing and expanding at the same time without it really becoming a burden and a heaviness in their life. They're enjoying their life. They're happy within their life. They're expanding every day. So it's a choice, right? We don't have to have it that way. So your awakening is that initial catalyst and that triggers that dark night of the soul. But then ascension is about how are you now using this brand new lot of information and these things that are happening to you to actually ascend and move forward and expand and elevate your frequency. So people are really getting stuck in that heaviness and the chaos, and it's because that initial awakening and that dark night of the soul basically throws you into fight, flight, or freeze. Your nervous system completely crashes, and it's very, very hard in that space to then start to try and ascend, to elevate your frequency, to move forward, because so much fear has been triggered one way or another, whether it be through the loss of a loved one, a divorce, maybe, whatever it is that initiated your awakening. It's usually a bit of a traumatic event that happened, or trauma that you'd repressed had started surfacing, and it's bringing up all of this fear. And so we get stuck in that, and our nervous system has a complete meltdown. And that's why it can be really hard then to start moving forward, and why everything feels heavy, and why everything that we're taking on is depleting us, rather us being able to filter it because of what's going on in our body and move forward. We hold on to it more. And so the first thing, if you're feeling like you're stuck, and maybe you awakened a year ago, 2 years ago, 5 years ago, and you still feel like you're not moving forward, and that everything still feels really heavy and life's too hard, the first thing that I ask you to do is just check in with your nervous system, check into the fight, flight, or freeze, and start finding ways to allow your body to just completely, I want to say re-regulate, but just regulate itself. And that comes down to a lot of breathing, a lot of grounding, and even just, it might even be the food that you are consuming, that, like, is it going to help your body to get rid of caffeine, to get rid of alcohol, to like really look at what you're putting in your body, as well as what can I start to move and shift that has to do with this fear? What is this initial fear and where is it coming from? So really starting to shift your body out of that fight or flight, because the other thing that happens is that once we get into our awakening, we get into ascension, we concentrate so much on the energy, and which is, fine and fair enough, because there's a lot of energy shifts. I mean, 2024 has been huge for, I don't want to say unwanted shifting, but it's sort of been this thing where with different waves of energy that have come this year, whether it be throughout full moons and super moons and the alignment of the planets, energy gets knocked up and stirred up. So, that's been happening, but that's an energy shift and our emotional stuff comes up. But what's slowing us down is that we're not actually then moving that through our mental and physical bodies. And what does that mean? It means that we are not making different choices. We are not checking our ego, and allowing ourselves to talk to it in the way that it needs to be spoken to, so that we don't make those same choices and those same mistakes and walk that same pattern. And then we're not integrating it into our physical reality. We're not taking actions in an opposite direction. And this is when people start going, oh, well, I've been doing all this healing, but nothing's changing. And I actually did it with food. So that's something that I've been having to really work on over the last couple of years. And I realized, and I kept still choosing to overeat. I kept still choosing to eat my feelings. And I was like, oh, there must be more to heal. There must be more to heal. But I'd done all of that energetic work. But what I wasn't doing was allowing myself to stop and reprogram my mind, reprogram my neural pathways, and actually take a different action. It has to filter through we are mind, body, emotion, and spirit. So it comes through, with awakening, and as we step into spirituality and into our healing, it's coming from the spiritual body through the emotional body, but then we forget about it, and this is why people are getting stuck, because it's not being brought any further. We're not doing that. So just for an example, just so that you know what I'm talking about, I can give you an example with me around food. So I'd done the healing around why I'm emotional eating, what those emotions are, where they came from, cleared that, inner child, cleared that ancestral stuff, cleared the karmic things around that. But when I started going, when I'd get a little bit angry or a little bit frustrated, let's say on emotional eating, because I'm still going to get angry and frustrated about things. Life is life. And again, just on a sidebar, like this notion that once we've awakened and we're ascending, then we just magically don't have to feel angry or sad anymore is like, that's just not the way it works. And if we want to ascend, there are still going to be things that are going to come up for us. With every level of ascension and frequency up level, you have to shift another level and layer of fear, of trauma, or of, whatever it is. So, let's say something happened with my kids and I got really angry and frustrated. I'd go to eat something and then I'd have to take a deep breath. And I'd go, hang on, brain, we're not doing this. Or my ego would go, oh, just have some chocolate. I'd be like, no, we're not doing that anymore. You have to interject in that and to change that pathway. So, I'd say, no, we're not doing that anymore. And I'd take a nice deep breath. And one of the biggest things that I've learned is to make sure, because you're giving away your power to that thing. So just, again, we can talk about that. That's another podcast for another time. But then I bring that power back to me, because what I'm doing in that moment is I'm allowing my ego to take over, and I'm allowing my ego and those negative neural pathways to have the power. So what I do is I take a deep breath and I say, I bring all of me back to me. I bring all of me back to me so that I'm bringing back my power over the situation. And I say, hey, we're not doing that anymore. I understand that you're frustrated, but this isn't the way to handle it. What we're going to do is we're going to take some deep breaths. We're going to go for a little walk around the house or go outside and sit in the garden and get some fresh air, and everything's going to be okay. So we've got to change those pathways. And then the action is closing the fridge and walking away. So we've got to be able to bring it no matter what it is, whether it's stepping into another relationship that we know that we don't want, whether it's I don't know, whatever it is, it has to go through all of the layers. So, and this is why when people start saying, the universe keeps bringing me the same lesson, I've done the healing, I get that, but it keeps bringing me the same lesson. Number one, the universe is a responder. So the universe isn't trying to get you or attack you or take you down. The universe is an energetic responder. You are the one that is in control of it. So if you've got lessons, I'm just going into this because this is a lot that I've heard lately about why does the universe keep doing this to me? You are in control. And if the universe is responding by sending you the same thing, it's because you are not making different choices. And again, this comes back to choices. So you may know that this guy at the end of the bar is, he's got that look and he's got that little bad boy thing happening, and you can tell that there's something, going on there, but you know that it's no good. You've been talking to him, you know that he's exactly the same as all the other ones. So, and you've done the healing on that because you're able to see it. You're aware. Hang on, no, this guy's no good. That's how you know you've done the healing, right? So, because you can see it and you're aware. So this is where you go, okay, brain, like we're not going to do this. This guy isn't for us. We're going to end up in trouble again. We're going to end up heartbroken again. This personality doesn't work with us. It's not what we want at this time. And then you need to choose to say, all right, I'm off home, big day tomorrow, see you later, right? And again, you could have done the healing, but if you were still going, oh, well, just this one more time, oh, just this, he's pretty cute, or, whatever. So this is why getting through that mental or learning to get through that mental and physical layer is really important. And that's why people are getting so stuck, because it's not integrating and you are not embodying what you've actually healed and learned. If that makes sense, we have to embody it. We have to bring it into here to allow it to manifest in our physical reality. So we got a little bit off track there, but the one thing I just want to remind you is that you get stuck in that fight or flight. So getting down into that, if you're finding that you're stuck, you're finding that your awakening was 3 years ago and you still feel heavy, you still feel burnt, and you feel like all this stuff's happening to you and you're in perpetual heaviness, figure out that fight, flight, fear, freeze thing. Too many F's for me to get out of my mouth. And start to ask your body how it can regulate. And this is the other thing that I want to get into. When you go into this work, you have to start really, and especially at the beginning, I'm going to be honest, at this point in time, I don't meditate every day because I don't have to, because I can get up and just check in with my emotions, check in with where I'm at without having to sit in stillness and clear everything out of me, because I don't have that much stuff going on in my field. I don't have that much heaviness because I've learned to integrate and embody and flush it all out on a daily basis. I can feel if something's there and I pull it out. And this is the thing. We need to really start learning tools. If you started your awakening, you've initiated your awakening, you're doing all of this healing, if you are not finding tools and practices to help you maintain, clear, feel and understand your own energy field, that's something that I really encourage you to start doing as of right now. And that could be something as simple as, and I talk about this all the time, every morning, just going, okay, hey body, what do you need today? Feeling into where are my emotions at? Have I got I've got something coming up here. What is that? Can I sit with that? Can I feel that? What does that feel like? And bringing it up. And on my Instagram, I think I did a live, not this week, just gone the week before, about how you can sit and actually feel and acknowledge and detach from the emotion to allow it to release, rather than let it overpower you and completely take over your energy. It's just a feeling. And I think the other thing is that we're not used to doing, once this healing work starts and we start getting all these emotions coming up that we're not used to feeling, because the reason they're down there is because we've squished them down as tight as we can. With these feelings that start coming up, we allow them to consume our entire energy field. And if you can learn to start going, oh gosh, I've got a lot of anger sitting here today, or a lot of sadness sitting here today, and learning to understand that it's just a feeling and it doesn't mean anything about you, and it doesn't mean anything about where you're at today, that you can actually sit and detach from it and still manage to feel it without it consuming you. And again, check out my Instagram from a couple of weeks ago, the Instagram live, and about detaching from emotions. And it's not about detaching, and this is the thing that people go, detach from it, it means you don't feel it, but you do. It's just that, again, like I said, it doesn't consume your entire energy system and your entire body, your entire levels and layers of you. You still feel it and you still allow it, but yeah, it's not consuming you. So learning to do that and learning to tap in and ask, where are my emotions at? What does my body need today? What do I need to do, be, embrace? What frequency do I need to embody today in order for me to either move through healing or just move through my day with happiness and joy? Really checking into your own system, and people do not do this enough. And I even know, guys, people who are in the field, who are Reiki healers or doing some sort of therapies, that don't do this every day. And it's something that we really need to be embodying. If we want to ascend and we want to really step into the power that we are as multidimensional beings, you have to be aware of your own field, what it needs, what it does, what it feels like, what it looks like to you, so that you can clear it out. So yeah, really learning to check your energy field, maintain your energy field on a daily basis, because I guarantee you that most of the stuff that's actually in there that's burdening you isn't even yours. And there's a lot of collective energy that people are buying into because, and I mean, I love being on Instagram. I love Instagram as a platform because it allows me to talk to people and to reach people and to give people tools for this kind of work. But I don't go onto Instagram and listen to the heaviness and the duality and the polarity and all the things that are going on, because it just drains you. And every time you read a comment and every time you hear something that triggers you and makes you angry about stuff that's going on in the world, you are taking that on and dragging that with you all day. So if you do that, even just 10 minutes a day, let's say you're on the TikToks or the Instagrams or the YouTubes watching these type of videos where it triggers polarity and duality and all the things that the Matrix wants us to play into. If you're doing that for even just 10 minutes a day, but you've been doing that for the last 2 years and you've never tried to clear your field of any of it, imagine how much stuff you're hanging on to. How many ties have you got to, the comments that made you angry, the comments that made you, fearful, the arguments that you may have ended into? You're dragging all of that with you. So just sitting right now and saying, right, tuning into your energy field and asking your energy, calling upon your guides, your higher self, to just pull out anything that is not yours and that you do not need. And you can do that with your hands. You can see it flying out of you like little tendrils or sparks. You can send it up, you can send it down to Mother Earth to be transmuted into beautiful, bright energy. But you should be doing this every single day, because like I said, most of what you're dragging around has nothing to do with you at all. So that's going to keep you feeling so heavy and so burdened with emotions that don't even have anything to do with you, right? So really checking into that energy field. And like I said, just learning tools like that. And what I just talked about can take 3 minutes, not even 2 minutes. I sit every morning and just pull out, set the intention to pull out all projections and expectations from myself and others that I've got, any emotions that have come up, because sometimes we dream too, and that brings up those emotions. So you wake up emotional, and just saying, wow, thanks for bringing that up. I can pull those out now. Please release those emotions out of my field. Any emotions that don't belong to me, that aren't mine, that I've picked up, please release them and see them pulling out. Like, it doesn't have to take a really long time. And then the other thing that we really need to think about to move out of like that initial awakening and dragging all of that stuff and into actual ascension, like I said, is that embodiment and integration. There are so many people that go out there and go, I've done this meditation course and I've done this thing on karmic loops and I've done this thing on my akashics and I've been trying to connect to my guides, but my life's still the same. There's a difference between learning the stuff and embodying the stuff. And if you've gone and you've taken a course on meditation or a course on collapsing karmic loops or ancestral wounding, but you've just like read the stuff and gone, okay, yeah, I've done that now, but you're not actually doing that on a day-to-day basis, you're not integrating and embodying those tools, which means they're not going to do anything for you. All you've done is consumed knowledge. You haven't made it part of your system and part of who you are. So, let's say you've done a thing on looking into past lives, but which is great and it's amazing and good on you for doing that and to learning how to tap into those past lives and how they affect us in this current reality. But if you've just learned that, but then the next day something comes up for you and, there's all these emotions coming up and you're not sure why you've been triggered and you're like, I don't think that this really happened to me, in my childhood or anything. Like, this could be a past life thing. And then you go, oh, and walk off. Whereas, then you should be going, okay, well, this is a past life thing. So what did I learn? I've got to go back. I'm going to go into meditation. I'm going to find this lifetime. I'm going to collapse it. I'm going to understand it. I'm going to, let go of it and understand that it doesn't need to affect me now. So I hope that makes sense, that there's a difference between actually doing a course and learning how to do something, but then actually using it in your everyday to day life. And when you're using it in your everyday to day life, that is when the integration and the embodiment comes. So it's going to actually help you along the way to heal and ascend, heal and ascend, heal and ascend. Yeah. Because like I was saying, it's not just, like I'm quite far, 5 years into my journey now, and I've learned a lot of different tools and a lot of different things, and I feel like I'm in a great place with my ascension and my awakening, and I feel like I'm in a good place in my life and things are moving forward. But it doesn't mean that I'm untouchable and just so blessed that all of a sudden I'm in this space where nothing comes up for me and nothing happens in my life, and but I've integrated and learned and integrated and embodied so many different ways of being and so many tools that can help me quickly move through something, that it's not a problem. And so my shifts happen and I use the tools that I have and the tools that I've learned daily so that, then the next wave can come and I can step into the next frequency of who I need to be and to ascend and help the planet ascend. So it doesn't stop. And that's why, it's like a cycle of stuff coming up, having to find where it's coming from, healing it, embodying the lesson, and then making different choices on that. Because we could just stay making the same choices no matter how much healing we've done, like I talked about before. So at the end of the day, if you're not willing to actually learn and integrate the things and embody what you need and start setting out those rituals or routines that you need every day, and everybody's different, but that you need every day to actually move through your ascension like a little bit with more ease and flow, which is sort of what I teach on. Like, you will get stuck. You will get the same lessons over and over again. You will feel heavy. You will feel burdened. And next year, this year's been such a big year of healing and energy shifts, but we've all learned from that in some way. Okay, we've all gained knowing from that. Next year is all about integration and embodiment. And there's this narrative out there that if you're awakening, the planet's ascending anyway. So, we're all just ascending. And so, the energy's coming up and it's just doing that because we're all ascending. But it's not just that. You have to embody and take different action. You have to move forward in the physical reality. People dog on the 3D. It's like the 3Ds become this like, sucky thing that everybody's trying to avoid. But our 3D reality is never going anywhere, because that's what it is. It's height, it's width, it's, length, it's mass, it's space, it's our body, it's where we're living. And so we need to actually be taking action in the 3D to be able to ascend as well. It's not just all about the energetics. And so I can't sort of, push enough that we really need to start taking what's happened this year and the energetic shifts that have happened and the healing that's come up for you, and I'm not, saying this to sort of make light of any of it, because no, absolutely not. But what we need to start doing now that these shifts are happening, and now that you've cleared, and now that you've healed, and now that you've released, you need to start figuring out how you can embody and integrate the tools that you've learned and the wisdom that you've gained from what is going on. That's 2025, and it's the end of the cycle next year. It's a 9 years so that we can start again. But I just need to get into the heads of people, like, this narrative of, well, we're all ascending anyway, so it doesn't matter. It's not, this whole ascension process is going to take a really long time. This is generations and generations and generations away of the world being how humanity wants it to be. And so, we have to do the things, we have to, in order for things to change, we have to actually do stuff. We have to take action in different directions. And I'm not talking about, just globally. Like, if you're not a politician, you're not called to be a politician, you're not called to be a teacher, you're not called to be actually in the thick of it. You need to sit and ask, what is my mission here? What is it that I'm actually here to do? And focus on that, right? I'm not here to change politics. I'm not here to change the education system or the big pharma or whatever. I am here to do what I'm doing, which is helping people through healing and helping people through ascension, giving tools, being a support system, and creating a community where we all, can lean on each other and help each other through. So I don't focus on politics. I don't even look at anything to do with politics or education or big pharma, because it's got nothing to do with why I'm here. And if I'm focused so much on getting all my energy into big pharma and the government and stuff like that, it's just draining my energy in spaces where it's not supposed to go to. Yeah, so that'll be draining my energy out, which is giving me less energy to sit here and talk about this and to help give tools and hold space for people who are having trouble within their healing and having trouble moving forward and having trouble shifting. So, the last thing I just want to encourage you to do, especially if you're feeling stuck and if you're feeling that burden, is to go, right, why have I actually awakened? Like, I programmed this in, like, I'm at the forefront. Why? What am I here to do? Who am I here to help? What am I here to help with? And it doesn't have to be anything, I think the thing in the spiritual community is when people say things like that, it's like, it doesn't mean you have to be a Reiki master or a holistic counselor. It could be that you're here. Maybe you are here to be a teacher. Maybe you are here to help people, get better financial freedom and help them with their finances, because that's a huge thing too. Finance, like, money's not going anywhere, you guys. Like, that's our currency. And I mean, this, the whole money thing and abundance in that sector is, a whole different conversation for another day. But, what is it that you are here to do, and start tuning into that. So just a quick recap on today. So awakening and ascension, two different things. Awakening is that initial catalyst that usually sends people into that dark night of the soul. And ascension is the process of healing, embodying, awake, and elevating your frequency. Healing, embodying that, and then elevating your frequency, which is that ascension pathway. So yeah, if you are still feeling like you're dragging, then we need to sort of work on that fight, flight or fight, work on that freeze, work on that space of initial awakening and making sure you've finished clearing all the fear and the grief and the sadness that came up around that, and really starting to just help your physical body with its nervous system so that you can start moving out of that fight, flight, or freeze response. Because I think sometimes we don't realize, and I didn't for a long time realize, that my body was actually still there. I thought I'd moved on, but I hadn't. Sorry, technical difficulties. So yeah, it is that choice, okay, to say, okay, I understand that I've awakened. The dark night of the soul was huge, but I don't need to take that with me anymore. I release all of that fear. I step into, I'm ready to step into expansion and ascension and start moving forward. Hey, body, hey, soul, what is it that I need to do? So it's really learning. If there's the one thing you take away for today, make a conscious choice every single morning to sit and tap into your body, tap into your emotions, tap into your energy, call in your higher self and say, what is it that I need to do today to start moving towards expansion and ascension? To let go of the fear, start moving forward, and start actually doing what I came here to do and be who I came here to be, get towards that highest timeline and feel abundance on all levels, because that's what we're all here to do, right? Excuse me. So if you have any questions, please let me know. If you've got anything specific that you're going through, but you're like, hey, yeah, but I've done this and it's still not working, please leave a comment, whether you're on YouTube, whether you're on the podcast, whether you're on my website. You can email something through to me. And just let me know, because I'm sure that what you're feeling and whatever it is that you're going through, there is other people going through that too. So please do that, and then I can, respond to you and give you a couple of things that you might be able to try, but also it'll give me, it might be something that, like I said, a lot of people are feeling, so I can do a podcast on that and really give you some great tools and info on how you can move forward. Because just before I go, the other thing is, for those of you out there who want to connect more to your guides, to your inner voice, to your intuition, spirit team, the fight or flight response and the heaviness of your nervous system, if your nervous system's out of whack, that is going to affect the way that you bring in information. And so, yeah, if you're out there having trouble and you're like, I've been trying to connect to my guides and it's not working and la-di-la-la-la, this is something that you can do to help that as well. Yeah, because when your nervous system's shutting down, when there's so much going on in your energy field, nothing can get in. Yeah, it can't, everything gets so distorted that the information can't get through. So yeah, anywho, I'm going to pop off. Well, not that sounded rude, didn't it? I am going to leave it there. I hope you all have a great week. I will see you again. Please make sure that you like this podcast, follow this podcast. If you're enjoying it, then share it out to your friends, so that we can all get some great conversations happening around ascension and just making our lives and this planet the best place it can be for us all to live. All right. See you soon. Bye.